Hey everyone, it's Jack here, Norwich City. Welcome back to another video. Lovely to be able to come back onto the channel today and talk about a win. Norwich City going into the game against Birmingham off the back of 3 straight defeats. You may hear by the sound of my voice that is becoming tradition on these Sunday reviews. I was rather happy with the way that Norwich City performed, and I was getting behind the team. That does mean of sacrifice to my vocal cords today. Before we get into it, and I know I've plugged these a lot now, but we've got a special offer. We're doing free delivery on the Johnny Rowe Let's Have a Go t-shirts. I absolutely love these. These are also... I've washed this like a good 5 times now and it still feels good as new. So the quality is brilliant. Free delivery. It ends Sunday midnight. So you haven't got long. I'll link it down in the description. If you want one of those, all profits go back into the channel. It helps with making all of this free content for you. Link in the description. I really appreciate it. Free delivery until midnight Sunday. Okay, let's get into it. Birmingham. It was a, coming into this, it felt crucial that Norwich City put points on the board and put in a decent performance. And I thought, we couldn't have asked for too much more. The team, we discussed it in the preview. The team wasn't too different to the defeat that we suffered against Plymouth. I didn't expect Wagner to really rip things up and go again. I think he's, of a mindset that this team is good enough. And I think they've proved it. And they had enough credit in the bank to continue in that kind of format. The only change was Puemas Barheta, who came in for El Hernandez, and I thought on the whole was pretty good. And I think he's kind of up to speed now. There's still a couple of parts of his game that need work, but I think his speed really scares sides. Quite a key pass in terms of the opening goal. I thought stretched the Birmingham backline quite a bit, and I thought on the whole did really well. I was maybe not surprised not to see Science in from the start, but I think he looked really lively, and I like the look of Borja Sainz, and I think probably with a couple of away games coming up next week, he will feature quite heavily. I think it's about bringing his fitness up to scratch. I thought Norwich were dominant for the most part. Birmingham had probably a 5-10 minute spell in the second half before we scored the opener, where they could have scored, maybe should have scored. But Norwich kept them at bay quite easily. I thought the partnership of Gibson and Duffy were solid, and I think suited this task more than they did against Plymouth. And I think that defeat to Plymouth and that type of striker we were up against Plymouth, where the ball's on the floor a bit more, it's a little bit tricky. Against Birmingham, the ball was in the air a bit, and I thought they dealt with it really well. And I thought the wing-backs had, one of their best games so far this season. I thought Stacey was absolutely brilliant. Vital interception that led to the second goal. Dibi Anulis delivering the cross for the first goal. I thought they were brilliant. And I think if Norwich are going to succeed, it's going to be, in large parts down to those guys' form. So that was really impressive. Gabriel Sara back to his absolute best. We know the quality of Sara and we know what he's all about. I think he's maybe drifted slightly against Plymouth and Leicester. Back to his best here. Influential on the ball, off the ball. I think he just orchestrates a game beautifully and just has that ability to change a match. Change the game here with a goal. He's done it before a couple of times this season with passes. Has that sprinkling of quality that not many do in the Championship. And the second goal from Rowe, who... I was chatting to my mates after the game and they were kind of like, well, it was weird because Rowe was quiet, but he scored. The thing that I'm kind of starting to learn with Jonathan Rowe is he's a game changer. He may drift in and out of games, but he has that ability to just really inject a moment of goodness. And he had it against Birmingham, drove at the defenders, couple of step overs, jinxed one way, jinxed the other, and sits Ruddy down on the floor. And that goal was crucial, actually, because we took the lead and then the game was out of sight within 5 minutes. And I don't think we would have seen that from Norwich City last season. I think we would have got the opener, tried to sit on the lead and probably then conceded 1 or 2 goals. And to get that second and to continue pushing on despite having the lead was really pleasing. I think this is a different feeling and a different mentality and a different squad to last season. And I've noticed it in the stands as well, because even after 45 minutes, you go into the break at 0-0. It wasn't the most scintillating of first halves. There was still unified 100% support from the Norwich City fans, despite coming into this off the back of some pretty sticky form. And that was really pleasing, because it could have quite easily turned, not toxic, but pessimistic, I think, at 0-0 at half-time. We wanted a quick start. We didn't necessarily get it, but the fans remained with the team and stuck with them. Brilliant scenes at the end, once again, the players lined up and giving it some. I think this was a bigger win than meets the eye. 2-0 against Birmingham. I think the neutral will look at this and go, meh, pretty average. Actually, in the context of things, this is really big. And we go into a big week of football. Couple of away games, midweek against Swansea away from home, who've struggled of late. They did have a good win at the weekend against Millwall, and then this weekend we travel to Coventry. Who, their key players from last season are no longer there. A pretty average start. They're down in 14th at the moment. However, again, a good win for them at the weekend. So both of those sides coming into this week off winning weekends. And so do Norwich. And I'm starting to get, not, overly optimistic, but you've got signs coming back into the mix, which, I'm fond of. I think Hwang is slowly but surely getting up to speed. It was a lovely assist for the Rowe goal with that little flick, and I think he's starting to join in play a little bit more. I've been impressed actually with Adam Ida's performances, and I think he's leading the line quite well. And on the whole, not too much to grumble about. You've got options defensively. You've got Danny Bart, who made his debut for Norwich City. He came on. You've also got Jayden Warner. That feels a little bit more packed out than what first met the eye at the start of the season. I think on the whole, Duffy and Gibson have been really good. You've got midfield options now, and I think McLean and Sarah, they've nailed down those positions. But God forbid there is an injury, you've got players that can fit in there. And then, those kind of three players in behind the striker. You've got Signs back in the mix. Wagner clearly likes Porchetta, and he's starting to kind of get to grips with the Championship. You've got Jonathan Rowe, who at the moment is one of the league's standout players. And you've got Christian Fasnacht, who, again, has had a pretty solid start to the season. So this is a decent Championship squad. And I think, the overreaction, the defeat to Plymouth was catastrophic, and the manner in which we played that game was just horrendous. But it was so bad, I just couldn't see it being replicated. We had to bounce back from it. We couldn't be that bad again. And I think we've learnt lessons from that. And it was pleasing to see a really professional performance with hints of quality against Birmingham. I thought they were really, really good. And long may that continue. A couple of wins this week would be brilliant. I think I'd probably take 4 points. Demanding week once again. We've had a few of these, haven't we? We've got a couple of away games in the week, and you're South Wales for one, and then you're back to the Midlands. Lots of travel, demanding on the players, but then they've got a week off, and then it's back at home against Leeds United. Daniel Farker's Leeds United, who've just been beaten 3-1 against Russell Martin Southampton. So lots going on, but pleasing performance, I think, on the Saturday. That's all I can say. Let me know what you thought down in the comment section below. Remember the Johnny Rowe Let's Have a Go t-shirts. All profits back into the channel. Free delivery if you order before Sunday at midnight. That is a brilliant offer, and it won't be on past this week. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye-bye.